part as a distinguished graduate of our school. Please accept my heartfelt congratulations on your outstanding achievement as valedictorian of the class of 2016.
When I was in first grade, I wanted to become just like my idol, Curious George. Cute, charming, curious. I would easily become the most adored person in my class. But more importantly, I'd have the power to play with any toy I wanted. So naturally, I began my campaign to transform into Curious George. Everywhere I walked, I constantly referred to myself as Curious George until it was ingrained in my peers' minds. Before long, my identity merged with his, and boy was I on top of the world. However, things didn't exactly work out. The girls didn't come chasing after me during recess. I didn't get to play with all the Power Rangers. And no, I wasn't the smartest in the class. If anything, I was a pretty clueless kid, which, quite honestly, continued to be a theme in high school as well. Though being clueless may have been a part of our high school experience, our domination was one as well. It wasn't too long ago when we first began thinking we were the Michael Jordans of our little worlds. You see, 8th grade had just ended, and we walked everywhere thinking we were the big dogs. Oh, shit. We ruled the handball courts, overtook the nicest lunch tables, and went on the coolest field trips. Am I right, or am I right? And in the first week of freshman year, we were indeed just that. Oh yeah. We were living life on the edge, looking left and right, and when security wasn't watching, sprinting to El Pollo Loco and Honey Boba. I mean, can I get a hashtag bless up for those two amazing saviors? But high school wasn't exactly always a hip hip hooray type of experience. To its ups, there were the downs. But it was in these moments when we moved out of our comfort zones that we learned to adapt, to learn things we were previously unfamiliar with. At some points during high school, I noticed that there were times where I was confused about why I was studying. I mean, like in math. Why did I need to learn the entire Greek alphabet? You know, sigma, sigma's little brother pi, pi's bigger brother alpha, the list goes on. The point is, I was calculative and grade-driven, singularly focused on getting a certain grade, a certain award, so that I could attend a better college. I lost my curiosity and was no longer the Curious George that I once was. I was frustrated that I lacked any and all passion. But, I mean, isn't it reasonable? How can adults expect children to find their passion when even adults still struggle with that? However, being the good kid I was, to meet their expectations, I did what anybody else would have done. I Googled how to find your passion. Then proceeded to take a bunch of quizzes that would supposedly find my passion, read my daily horoscope for potential clues, and then consulted the realest homies out there, AKA fortune cookies. Yet still, I was clueless. I became desperate. Why was it so hard to find my passion? And then it hit me. Passion and happiness go hand in hand. So I began asking myself, well, what made me happy? I realized that I was happy when I knew others were happy. To me, happiness is a healthy family, an impactful legacy, and a meaningful contribution to society. I recall visiting my grandfather in China, whose hearing was worsening each year. He had given up on hearing aids as they often amplified the static background noise, which caused him great discomfort. During that particular visit, I remember my grandfather's hearing loss was so poor that the only mode of communication with him was via writing on a piece of paper. His hearing disability took a toll on his life and frustrated him. And when I saw that, my heart sank. His struggles and unhappiness deeply affected me. But I wanted to find out how I could help him. In search of the latest advancements, I came across Professor Jack Shing at UC Irvine, who was willing to mentor me in conducting hearing aid research using mathematics. Throughout the process of doing research, I realized that the boring math fundamentals I swore never to touch again became the very tools that allowed me to separate the noise from the signal and isolate the true voice. The voice that I wanted my grandfather to hear once again. Although he recently passed away, I hope my research can help the 360 other million people suffering from hearing loss so that they don't have to suffer and endure anything my grandfather had to. So thank you, Grandpa, for being my inspiration and for bringing me out of my slump. Right when I was about to give up hope, you inspired me. From this entire journey, I learned so much. What had originally been a search for my passion turned into a journey that led me out of the tiny bubble I was living in and showed me what mathematics and what learning in general is all about. I had been too short-sighted, only focused on getting homework over with and getting the grades, that I ended up missing out on the bigger picture. I should have been thinking about how blessed I was to receive this great education, the tools I was equipped with, and how I could be able to use these to help those around me. Instead of passion, I should have been focusing on compassion. It was through my initial thought of trying to help my grandfather that I became energized and motivated to take things in my hand and push through whatever obstacles lay ahead. By unknowingly focusing on compassion, my attitude towards everything around me changed completely. I felt fulfilled, excited, and most importantly, I felt true happiness. In this turn of events, I for once wasn't in the center of attention. It wasn't about my grades, my SAT scores. It wasn't about my personal problems. I was driven by the sheer excitement that my work could potentially help my grandfather and many others. And that by itself gave me overwhelming satisfaction. Thus, I encourage you to embrace your innate compassion. Must I remind you that it was our compassion that brought us together in solidarity after the recent shooting in Orlando. It was our compassion that brought us together to stop the spread of the Ebola outbreak. And it is our compassion and how we show it that will dictate our future and the world around us for generations to come. And I believe now is more important than ever to channel our inner compassion, be it reducing our use of paper, water, and electricity to preserve the environment, assisting an elderly across the street, or even being vegetarian in hopes of bringing awareness to cruel and inhumane animal slaughter. I challenge the class of 2016 to think hard and reflect on how we can use and display our compassion moving forward. For at the end of the day, I truly believe that it is in compassion that we find our true passion. And the great thing is, we don't need to go far to practice our compassion. We can kickstart this movement by giving our parents and even our grandparents a warm embrace and a sincere thank you. Though we may have had our rocky moments with our parents, We must remember how much they've sacrificed for us these past 18 years so that we can have the best, the very best, so that we can all be sitting here today. So as we head off for college and transition into adulthood, the least we can do is call home to let them know that we're safe, visit often to embrace our time with them, and try our best to take care for them and provide for them as they have done for us. I truly believe that healthy families are the foundation for a strong society. Together, we have the power to build a peaceful, harmonic society, and I believe it starts with us. And I believe it starts with compassion. Thank you. Thank you all very much.